are, getting ready. The Eurovan made it down here, just outside of Hanksville, top of Poison Springs Canyon. The beautiful Henry Mountains in the background.
Okay.
Our goal for the weekend was the remote Maze Overlook in Canyonlands National Park. From there, we hope to hike into the maze proper and visit the renowned harvest scene pictographs. Our journey started down Poison Springs Canyon. This is a beautiful canyon with fun riding, miles of amazing scenery, and lots of things to see and explore. There's a lot of ancient rock art here, as well as some more recent inscriptions from cowboys and outlaws. We spent some time looking for an inscription left by Butch Cassidy in one of his camps, but unfortunately didn't find it before we had to move on. This route also requires a crossing of the Dirty Devil River. We'd been watching the water levels and weren't sure that the river would be low enough for us to be able to cross. When we got to the river, it was clear that the water was way too high to cross on motorcycles.
River crossing is a little deeper and swifter than we were hoping for. The gauge was going up and down, we weren't sure, but there's some sticky mud and then there's a pretty tricky step up getting out on the other side where you're not going to have very good traction. What's that going to tell you?
How that's really deep.
We were super disappointed to have to turn around and backtrack all the way to our starting point. With the short days, we were unsure whether we would still have enough time to make it to our camp. Suddenly, we were a bit rushed, and Cassie got frustrated when she dumped her bike in some deep sand. We made it back to the pavement, where we descended scenic North Wash to where the Dirty Devil is more conveniently crossed on a bridge high above the river. After a bonus crossing of the Colorado River due to a missed turnoff, we headed back north towards the maze. These dirt roads are frustratingly indirect as they weave around buttes and canyons, but offer fun and fast riding through great scenery. It was late in the afternoon when we made it to where we would have come out had our river crossing been successful.
Okay, so this is the road we were supposed to come in from Poison Springs, but we didn't make it across the drainage. So instead of 15 miles to get here, we just had to ride 50 miles to get to where we are now. As you can see, we don't want you taking OHVs into the national park. That's where we're headed next. Hopefully we can make it to our campsite before it gets dark. How was that little hill climb? Was that epic? Was that just epic?
It was really scary. I was all over the place.
It is so epic out here. Oh, look at that, would you? That's incredible. Like, well, I should probably be looking at the road right now, but I'd like to be looking at the scenery.
I'd ridden the nearby Flint Trail to the Dollhouse before, which is also one of Canyonlands' classic routes. The trail to the Maze Overlook was supposed to be easier, but I was surprised at how challenging some of the sections were. Cassie did great and really kept the momentum going as darkness fell, charging through some pretty committing sections that normally would have given her some pause. Eventually it was totally dark, but we knew we were getting close and kept pushing on.
We made it to our camp. Made it, honey.
Made it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That was totally epic. It's pretty dark out here now, but we're in a great camp spot.
Yeah, and all of the stars, man, they're going to be coming out.
How is it? So tonight we have
It's yummy. I like it.
Mexican style grilled chicken bowl with rice and beans. We added some chips and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Super gourmet. Well-earned meal.
Starving.
Sun's coming up. It's pretty amazing. Wow. Straight breakfast scramble. Epic views for breakfast. Amazing.
The next morning we hiked down into the Maze, an area named because of its confusing network of deep slot canyons. From the overlook, the route looks like it would be impossible without ropes, but it sneaks around steep cliff bands by traversing around on ledges. The steepest parts have Moki steps carved out of the rock to make them easier. As experienced climbers, it wasn't too hard for us, but I wouldn't recommend it to anyone unaccustomed to exposed scrambling.
It's casual for an experienced climber like Cassandra Verbruggen.
I thought it was going to be harder than that.
Sandbagger.
A few miles of hiking through beautiful canyons brought us to the Harvest Scene Pictograph panel, which was painted by the archaic people who inhabited Canyonlands from 8,000 to 2,000 years ago. After climbing back up to the canyon rim, we were pretty tired from the hike and yesterday's long day of riding, so we were a bit concerned that the ride out would be challenging in our exhausted state. Luckily, everything went smoothly and the riding was super fun and a lot more scenic in the daylight. There were a few rocky climbs over ledges where I rode Cassie's bike, but she was riding great and styled the rest of it herself. Eventually we made it back to some faster riding and the pavement, where a chilly ride got us back to the van before dark. The Dirty Devil thwarted us this time, but we'll be back.